Hello lovely people of the universe, my name is Phoebe and I recently had PRK or photorefractive keratectomy, laser eye surgery, and this is a video vlog about the recovery process starting on day 1. It is about 2:45, I had the surgery around 4:30 yesterday, so that puts me about 22 hours and 15 minutes after surgery. So I'll be trying to make this a daily log just to see how I'm doing, so that if you are considering PRK yourself or LASIK, you can see kind of how the results are, putting my experience out there so that you can compare yours, know what the recovery is like, know what the procedure is like. So I will go ahead and talk about that. Right now, I am in a pretty good place. I can obviously make this video. I'm still wearing these sunglasses. I'm supposed to wear them for about inside for 24 hours after surgery, so I've got about an hour 45 minutes left that I should be wearing them, and then I'm just supposed to wear sunglasses outside all the time. I asked if there was a limit and they were like, no, we just think you should wear sunglasses all the time outside, which is fair, but also like sometimes I want to show off my eyes outside, so I'll have to look into that more. Screens are, well, for me, so I've really had to find some ways of being productive that do not involve screens, which is great, part of why I'm making this video, because I cannot do any revisions to my work, I cannot plan for school, I can't even watch anything. I could listen to podcasts, but it's been a while since I went through a podcast phase and I kind of have to get back into that slowly. So, the surgery itself. My story is interesting. I did not choose PRK over LASIK. I went in for a LASIK consultation, they said, hey, you're great for LASIK. I went in for the surgery, they put the little circle thing that holds the laser still, and I put it in, and every time they tried to put it in, I went like that. I just had that reflex to it. So they're like, okay, let's have your friend get you some Valium. And they got the Valium, they came back, after like 15 minutes it set in, I was making really bad jokes because that's what I do when I'm high on pain meds apparently. They came in to ask my friend to hold my stuff, they were like, you know this person, right? And I'm like, no, this is a total stranger to me. And the nurses took me seriously. It's always very embarrassing when somebody takes you seriously when you're trying to be sarcastic. So we go back in, I go back into the surgery, and they try to put the thing in again, and they go, okay, well, it's popping out. I'm like, wait, what? It's doing what? And they're like, yeah, your cheekbone is too high and your eyebrow bone is too low. So this is supposed to be a one size fits most, but we don't have the smaller version for the few people, me, whose the size doesn't fit. So we're gonna have to do it differently. We're gonna have to schedule it for a different day. So they took me back outside, they're like, all right, let's talk about what your options are. We don't have the thing that fits your eyes, so we're gonna have to do PRK. And the difference between LASIK and PRK, from my understanding, is that with LASIK, they cut a slit, I think, in the protective layer of your eye, using, it's not like cut like with a knife, it's like a laser that they cut with, and then they use the laser to fix your vision, burn off parts of your eye to help it, whereas with PRK, they use chemicals to kind of rub off that protective layer. And so with PRK there's longer healing time because it takes longer for the eye to heal that entire protective layer than it does for just the one slit by itself. Although honestly, when they were like, oh, we're gonna use chemicals to rub it off, that scared me less than getting a cut in the eye. I get that the recovery time is longer and like my eyes aren't gonna heal as fast, but I was still okay with it. So I go in yesterday, and they get me ready, they're like, okay, let's get you into the surgery room. I'm looking up all this stuff about PRK beforehand. This one guy says it's like a Kubrick movie. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go all 2001 Space Odyssey. I get in, they put a pillow under my knees, having me lean my head back, look up, and then they're like, all right, so we're gonna use this holder thingy to hold your eye open. I'm like, that makes sense, I don't wanna cut my eyelids. So they hold it open, and then they use this thing that's like, it looks like an electric toothbrush, or like mixed with one of those fans, you know those fans people use at theme parks? So it's tiny. It mostly looks like an electric toothbrush, and after they numb your eye, they go it up to your eye and they kind of like just scrub back and forth. While they have the other one covered, of course, because it's important that they focus on this one. And then they're like, they say a bunch of numbers that have probably something to do with my vision correction, and then they lower the thing down and they're like, stare at the green light for 6 seconds. I'm like, okay. So I stare at the green light for 6 seconds, and then they're like, okay, now 20 seconds we're gonna spray stuff in your eyes. I'm like, all right. So they spray stuff in my eyes, 20 seconds, cold water. Cold water like was the only thing that I actually felt that whole process. Everything else didn't feel anything. You can smell the stuff burning off of your eye, but you can't feel it. I was just looking at a laser basically. So then they cover up that eye, do the same thing with the other eye, and before you know it, I was out of there. By the time I was like, kind of like antsy about it, it was over. So there was really no changing my mind, no going back now. So then they take me out, they're like, all right, here, make sure you have your drops, your ibuprofen, so that you can, handle the pain in your eyes. I'm like, cool. So I get a lift home, and then I'm just like, all right, well now I'm supposed to rest my eyes and go to sleep. So I rest my eyes. About 3.5 hours later, I wake up, and it's not excruciating pain, but I feel like I am being stabbed in the eyes by about maybe 25 different needles in each eye. It does not feel pleasant, so I'm like, all right, reach for the ibuprofen, take some more painkillers. I'm not supposed to use the drops yet until after like 4 or 5 hours of napping, so I wait for that. Once I get there, I use the drops, and then once I'm kind of like actually sleeping for the night, I keep waking up maybe every 2 or 3 hours, and my eyes still feel like they're in pain. But the other thing is that there's so many tears because my eyes, are trying to alleviate that pain. So every few hours, I get up and I'm like, okay, let me grab like some tissue paper, like dab my eyes, because you are really not supposed to rub your eyes because it can mess with the recovery process. And now they feel crusty, so I'm still tempted to rub them a little bit, but I'm like, no, don't want to interfere with that recovery process. Just dab when I can, and I'll get that. And then they give you this sleep mask. They said it was really ugly. I don't really personally care. It's just like, I'm sleeping, nobody's gonna watch me while I sleep. And then this morning I wake up, I try to get up, and I have the hardest time keeping my eyes open, even to put in the drops, because you're supposed to do 4 every day. I'm trying to put in the drops, and I look up, and I can barely hold my eyes open long enough because I want to blink. I think my eyes want that protective layer of the eyelid on there. So I'm trying to put the eye drops in, and I'm just like holding my eye open to get it in. And I'm also very light sensitive, so I have to make sure that I am retreating to an area of the apartment that is very clearly not lit at that time. So I managed to do that, managed to get the drops in. I try to actually get up because I don't want to go back to sleep and have to deal with getting up every so often, and see if I can actually keep my eyes open. I managed to keep my eyes open for about like 3 seconds at a time at this point. I walk around, I get some cleaning done, I make myself breakfast. The glimpse that I got of that breakfast, it looked horrible, but it tasted okay. About 4 hours maybe into the day, it's a little better. I can keep my eyes open for like maybe 10 seconds at a time now, which is a big improvement. And some things I can actually see. When I got out of the surgery initially, I went into the room where they were just like, okay, we're gonna take a look at your eyes real quick. And I could read this poster that normally I couldn't read without my glasses. I just go, whoa, really loud. The guy who like handles the patient care stuff is like, that's the reaction I like to hear. So I had that instance of perfect vision that is kind of like keeping me going through all this blurriness, because while that protective layer of my eyes is reforming, stuff is going to be blurry for me. And it means that driving is difficult. Well, driving is not just difficult, I should not be driving, and I haven't been. But even going outside, my eyes are very light sensitive right now because they're missing that protective layer. So these sunglasses, of course, I have to wear inside, and then outside probably for a while in the foreseeable future. I went outside a couple times today with them, and it was mostly fine. I went to see if there was any possibility that I could drive a car. No way. So that's the recovery process so far. I will keep everybody updated on how it's going about 24 hours from now. Well, not 24 hours from now, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So I'll be busy with that, but sometime tomorrow I'll make another one of these and I will update. We'll see where my eyes are then, and I should be rid of these glasses by then, so you can actually see whether or not I'm looking at the camera or just taking a nap while I talk. Alright, so I don't know how to sign off, so I'm just gonna say, smell you later.